Thank you, Mr. Chairman, very much. Earlier, you did not answer Senator Carper on whether EPA performed an analysis of the health impacts of your decision last week to allow significantly more amounts of extremely dangerous pollutants to be put into our air. Your decision means that industrial facilities like power plants or chemical factories or hazardous waste incinerators will no longer be required to use state-of-the-art technology, the gold standard to reduce these harmful emissions. This should be a very simple answer. There are 187 dangerous pollutants covered by this policy that you have rolled back. Well, let's just go through a few of these. Arsenic. Do you believe that more arsenic pollution is harmful to the public?
Yes.
Do you believe that more mercury pollution is harmful to the public?
I do.
Do you believe that more lead pollution is harmful to the public health?
Yes, Senator.
Do you believe that more benzene pollution is harmful to the public health?
Yes, sir.
Well, your decision allows more of these pollutants, more of these toxics to go into the atmosphere, to go into the air, to go into the water, to go into the environment. Children will be exposed to these pollutants. Seniors will be exposed to these pollutants. We should have a gold standard of pollution control in this country. That is what the EPA should ensure is on the books. But you're going to replace the gold standard with a lead standard. And that will not be good for the health of the children in our country. The President has a slogan of MAGA, but here it's going to mean make arsenic great again. So this is not good for our country. It is not where we should be heading. That decision is an historically bad one last week, and I urge you to reconsider it immediately. On the question of fuel economy standards, you say that you are reviewing them right now in response to Senator Carper. The head of EPA's Air Office, Bill Rareham, recently said that he has no interest whatsoever in withdrawing California's ability to regulate. From a good, solid public policy standpoint, the very best outcome for all of us to achieve is one national program. Do you agree with that?
One national program is essential.
One national program is essential. And do you support, once again, the maintenance, the retention of the California waiver, which Massachusetts uses and many other states also use? Do you support the
California? Yeah, there are ongoing discussions with CARB in California, the agency that oversees these matters, and it is our hope that we can come to a resolution as we visit about these standards in April of this year. Senator, federalism doesn't mean that one state can dictate to the rest of the country, but we recognize California's special status on the statute, and we are working with them to find a consensus around these issues.
Well, Massachusetts is part of that waiver, as are the states of many of the members of this committee, and we want to retain that ability to have the highest standards possible. Yes, we do want there to be harmonization. It happened under the under the Obama EPA and Department of Transportation, but we are increasingly fearful that there will be a rollback of the fuel economy standards. So there's one thing that I would like you to keep in mind. We still import 3 million barrels of oil a day from Saudi Arabia, Libya, Kuwait, Iraq, Qatar. We should not be importing oil from these countries if we can increase our fuel economy standards. Fracking is reducing our dependence, but so isn't fuel economy standards. And we can have no retreat because we're sending young men and women in uniform over to the Middle East to continue to protect that oil coming in from the Middle East. And we have a moral responsibility to put the fuel economy standards of our vehicles at the highest possible level. And I just want the EPA and the Trump administration to understand that these young men and women are over there, not exclusively, but in part in order to protect that supply of oil. We will never be energy independent. We will never produce all the oil that we need in our country. At 10 million barrels a day, 13 million barrels a day, we're still consuming 19 or 20 million barrels a day. Fuel economy standards will back out 2.5 million barrels a day. We should honor that commitment, and you should honor what Massachusetts and California and the other states want to accomplish.
And if I may, Senator, I think the issue that you've raised is important, but also the harmonization with DOT. I mean, as you know, there are joint equities there between DOT and EPA, and we're working diligently with them to harmonize these efforts, again, to provide clarity on these issues. So it's state, it's federalism, and it's also interagency at the federal level.
Right. The most important equities are those young men and women we send over to the Middle East to protect that imported oil, and we should just ensure those standards stay as high as possible.
Senator Carper.